Saturday on Denver 7 News.
Most of the people at this point have been either taken to the hospital or taken to our headquarters to be interviewed.
A fatal shooting inside an Aurora church has investigators still searching for answers this morning. A temporary closure put in place after backlash over COVID protocols is coming to an end. How mask mandates lifting in the metro could still put strain on the Children's Museum.
It has been difficult for many people that we know who live there, and we wanted to do our part.
And a little later, Coloradans continue to come together to support Marshall Fire victims. But this time, it might help satisfy that sweet tooth.
Good morning and happy Saturday. We hope you're having a great start to your weekend. I'm Micah Smith.
And I'm Katie LaSalle. Appreciate you being with us here on Denver 7 News. Lots to get to this morning, but let's start with the weather forecast. Outside, we are waking up to some cloud coverage here over the Denver metro area. That'll clear up in the next few hours. That cloud will move further to the north and east. As you can see from our satellite this morning, that includes the Denver area up north to Greeley and over I-76. Clear skies into the mountains at this hour, and will stay dry for the first half of the day. Beautiful conditions up near Vail. Saw a lot of people heading westbound on I-70 this morning. It's going to be a gorgeous afternoon into the high country with temperatures topping out in the 20s and 30s. We're already seeing low 40s out at the airport, but strong winds will be the main weather headline for today. Wind gusts right now around 13 miles per hour and could reach up to 35 miles per hour later on this afternoon. Temperatures still very cold into the mountains. It is 1 below zero in Steamboat Springs, -15 in Gunnison, 40s now filtering into Colorado Springs. Your out and about forecast for this afternoon. Gusty winds at times, temperatures in the 40s for our afternoon highs, and then we will see a little more sunshine for the second half of the day. Chance for some snow into the high country, more on snow totals that we're expecting, and then some colder weather for Sunday coming up in your full forecast.
We have a breaking news update for a shooting that left a woman dead and 2 men hurt at a church in Aurora. This happened last night just after 8 o'clock at Iglesias Faro de Luz at 6th and Olaf. Aurora police say several people were inside the church when the shooting happened. Police want to stress this was not a random shooting.
We're working to positively identify the suspect. We have information on who they might be, but obviously our investigators need to make sure that we pinpoint exactly who it is before we put any other information out about it.
We also know a 4th person was taken to the hospital for medical reasons but was not shot. A suspect has not been identified, but police believe he knew the victims. Count on Denver 7 to keep you updated as we learn more about this situation.
This is the first weekend in months that you will not need to wear a mask inside many indoor spots here in Denver. The city and county let their mask requirement expire. Individual businesses can still require you to wear a face covering or ask for proof of vaccination. Ball Arena and the Denver Center for the Performing Arts will be among those. Several other metro counties are taking the same approach, including Broomfield, Adams, and Arapahoe. Mask requirements there also expired on Friday.
And the Children's Museum of Denver is opening its doors this morning. The museum closed temporarily after some visitors yelled at staff members over their mask policy. Denver 7's Christian Lopez explains the next steps for the museum starting today.
Since the museum's temporary closure on the 25th, staff has been reviewing policies and figuring out the best way to move forward. Even though the mask mandate in the city and county of Denver expired for public indoor spaces, it is still in place for schools and child care organizations. The museum decided it will still be requiring masks for those ages 3 and older, but they do offer medical exemptions and guests can take their masks off in outdoor areas. In a statement we received from the museum's president and CEO, Michael Yankovic, he said in part, quote, "We know the last 2 years have been a trying time for all, and like so many others, we too are fatigued by the challenges and uncertainties we have faced together. We ask that you keep this in mind and please be respectful of this policy and supportive of our staff who work hard each and every day to make the museum the best it can be for our community." After the museum reopens today, it'll be open Wednesday through Sunday, but you will need to make a reservation before heading their way. Reporting in Denver, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Christian, thank you. And if you're in need of a K95 mask, the Northside Atzlan Community Center in Fort Collins, they're distributing masks today. The masks are from the state's stockpile that were dropped off to libraries and fire departments. Supply is limited, so those hosting say they'll be handing out masks until 3 o'clock or while supplies last. There is a maximum of 5 per person. Well, Black history is Colorado history. That's the lesson a young museum curator is hoping to teach Coloradans this February.
Yeah, and I got to take a look at statewide efforts to preserve and share Black stories from every corner of Colorado. On almost every block in downtown Denver stands a building that holds a piece of the city's past.
A lot of times the everyday life of people, no matter what color their skin was, it's overlooked.
A little over a year ago, the Colorado Historical Foundation started working to save buildings associated with Black history in the state. And now History Colorado is working on a new project with a similar goal.
History Colorado applied for and received a $50,000 grant.
Associate Curator of Black History Dexter Nelson II says the National Trust for Historic Preservation grant will allow the museum to gather oral histories around the state and create an African American heritage trail.
We don't want to just say, oh, here's your story of these 3 or 4 Black individuals. We want to say, hey, we know there's a lot of history in your region. What stories are you guys telling? We took the state of Colorado and just divided it into 4 different regions. There's just the Southwest, Southeast, Northwest, and Northeast.
And in each of those regions, Nelson is utilizing volunteer regional ambassadors to gather stories.
The end result will be a phone application that people can log on to. They can find different stops, different historical content.
Nelson says the virtual trail will highlight well-known historically Black neighborhoods and lesser-known areas.
There's the Buffalo Soldiers, who are more in southwestern Oklahoma, like kind of Fort Garland area. We want to do programs on Lincoln Hills for the 100th anniversary. We want to do program on Claire Brown and Don Cheadle and Pam Grier.
Nelson says the African American Heritage Trail will trace the Black American experience in the West from pioneer days to the present, so that not just in February, but every day of the year, Coloradans can learn about the Black history that surrounds them.
Well, as cold temperatures stick around this winter, there is something you need to keep in mind: your pets. How to prevent hypothermia in your pups is on the way.
And if you're looking for a way to help those who lost everything in the Marshall Fire, one ice cream parlor is making it nice and easy.